Hello, family. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? I trust everyone is fine. Thank you so much for viewing the Pizza and My Pizza channel. Thank you for your engagements on the YouTube channel and also especially on the WhatsApp line because that's where I'm receiving a lot of love, a lot of engagement, a lot of comments, and I thank you for your time in really engaging with us. So today we continue on grade 2 or level 2 of the School of Life. As you remember, the last time we spoke about grade 1, what we learn in grade 1, which is mainly being taught by our caregivers. Remember, in grade 1, we are still young, spiritually and physically, and we are being nurtured by our caregivers, by our teachers in various respective aspects of our lives. So in grade 2, we then accept what we have been taught, we apply what we have been taught. And remember, in grade 1, I said that if what you are being taught does not resonate with you, you then begin a journey of seeking your truth. So in grade 2, you apply what you have found in seeking your truth for yourself, or you apply what you have been taught, what you have accepted, what you have embraced according to what you have been taught by your caregivers. So in grade 2, you apply your knowledge. And normally, if you apply what you have been taught, you apply it with certain expectations. For example, we are generally taught to work hard and to attain or achieve the symbols of success. And those symbols of success are mainly wealth, money, cars, material things. But rarely are we taught to work the heart, to work um, at refining our own feelings, at refining our own comprehension about life for ourselves, so that we become independent thinkers, we become independent in applying our truth, in understanding our truth. So when you then are dependent, or you remain dependent according to what you have been taught and embracing all the beliefs that you have been taught without seeking the truth for yourself, you then end up becoming dependent on other people. You don't think for yourself, you don't seek understanding for yourself. And when things go wrong, it's very easy then to blame those that you are dependent upon. But when you go on your own way, when you seek to understand life for yourself, you then take responsibility for everything that you experience, for everything that happens. You have the courage to stand for yourself, to stand for your truth, and to pursue your truth no matter who says what, no matter what the circumstances look like. And in that way, you explore life for yourself. You have the courage to go into the unknown and you seek understanding of life for yourself. However, if you remain dependent on what you have been taught without seeking the truth for yourself, without seeking that unique musical rhythm that I spoke about in grade 1, you then blame others when things go wrong. It's very easy because then you don't take responsibility. It's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's responsibility to have done one, two, three for you to be able to succeed, or for you to be able to be progressive. And when we don't get the same when we don't get a reaction from not taking responsibility, when people then do not feed our dependency, we become uh, distractful. We self-destruct. We feel so much pain. We feel pain of rejection. We feel pain of being failures and so forth. And then we try to distract ourselves. We try to numb the pain. We go and, overindulge in alcohol, overindulge in entertainment, overindulge in social media, and we just want to shift the attention from the pain that we're healing. And that happens when you don't then take responsibility for the uneasiness that you feel about things that do not resonate with you. You ignore it, hoping that it will go away, and then in that way you don't take responsibility for your choices, and it's easy to blame others. But if you then take responsibility to seek the truth for yourself, when you feel that uneasiness in grade one and you decide to choose to seek the truth for yourself, the truth that resonates with you, the truth that empowers you, the truth that makes you to be progressive without relying on anyone or on anything outside of yourself, but relying on yourself, on your higher self, on your God self, through your intuition and receiving the inspiration and the guidance that you receive. You take responsibility for whatever happens. Whether you succeed in your plans or you don't succeed, you don't blame anyone. You accept responsibility. Yes, people might have contributed in certain ways in how they may influence you, but you still have the responsibility to respond to how people are responding to you, or how people are receiving you in you implementing or living your truth. So it is very, very important to remember that in grade two, you apply what you choose to accept as the truth in your life. Whether that truth, you accept the truth from outside yourself or from within yourself. But in grade two, you do the application. And as you take responsibility for yourself, as you take responsibility to seek the truth for yourself, you then are more engaged. You then pay more attention to yourself, to your internal self. You then engage and probe on how you are feeling, why you are feeling the way you are feeling, and you get to the root of your emotional state. Instead of blaming anyone, you then take responsibility to say, I may be feeling like this because of 1, 2, 3, 4. But remember, you have the power to transform that feeling, to transform that negative feeling to a positive feeling that can propel you forward so that you can continue on your journey. You can continue on your schooling. You can continue to the higher grades of life. As we are talking about grade two, then you can proceed to grade three. So the lessons that we learn in grade two are about unity, being one, being one within yourself, being whole and wholesome within yourself. Because when you are whole and wholesome within yourself, you are then able to be whole and wholesome with others. You are at peace with yourself. You accept yourself. You accept your truth without seeking any validation from anyone, but with an understanding of who you are and who you are of, based on the guidance that you receive from your higher self, your God self. So we learn to be open hearted. We learn to expand our hearts. We learn to soften our hearts. Because, once you accept yourself for who you are, you then soften your heart. You release anxiety. You release the need to be validated. You release the need to be approved. You accept yourself as you are. You open your heart to yourself. You love yourself. And in that way, you allow others to be and you accept them as they are, as much as you accept yourself as you are. So that is another lesson that we learn. We also learn to communicate and have communion with the God self. We learn about faith. We learn about trust. We learn to rely on our higher selves. We learn to rely on the God that is within us. No matter how the outside might be looking, no matter how gloomy it might be looking, you learn to rely on your intuition. You learn to strengthen your faith. And as you strengthen your faith, the more you strengthen your faith, the more you will have the courage to go into the unknown, to continue on the path, on the uncharted path, to understand who you are, to continue to apply your truth in life. It is very challenging to go on your own. It is very challenging to have the courage to continue to seek your truth and to have the courage to accept your truth when you find it. Because it's very easy for people to go in a group, but it's scary for one to go on their own. But remember that you are never alone. As you choose to seek your truth, remember that you are never alone. There are three aspects of yourself within yourself. There is your God aspect, that is your soul aspect, which is the bridge between your God's aspect and your physical aspect. So if you strive to align, to integrate, to be in integrity, to be in oneness of the three aspects of yourself, nothing and no one and no circumstances and no situation can be a threat to you, because you know that you stand in your faith. You know that you are standing in the knowledge, you are standing in the wisdom of all wisdoms, and you learn how to have that trust in that voice, that inner voice that sounds like you. God speaks to all of us. And like I said the last time, all of us, we carry our own Bibles within our hearts. And the only one word that is written in our Bible is love. Because long before men could even write, men had a relationship, or humanity had a relationship with God. Where did the knowledge come from? It came from their blueprint, because they were so clear in their blueprint. They were living their truth. They were living according to nature. They were living in oneness with nature. There was no need for anybody to come and write anything and explain anything to them. It was already written. It is already written. Even today, as I am speaking now, it is written in our hearts that we are gods. Even though it may sound unacceptable according to other religions to say that we are gods, but we are gods. We are the manifested aspects of God, and we need to expand that godliness within us, that light within us, so that ultimately these bodies become illuminated with that light. We shine the light. We no longer need bones and blood and flesh, but we become illuminated. We become enlightened. We become moving globes of God. So please note that it is for our own good that we do self work, that we continuously assess, we continuously review, we continuously check in with ourselves, check in with how we are feeling, check in about our thoughts, check in about our actions and our behaviors, so that in everything that we do, we remember that we need to create an environment within ourselves that it will allow us to expand, so that we can allow the light of God to expand and eventually become illuminated in the glory, in the light of Christ consciousness. So, as we are in grade 2, we learn to understand ourselves. We learn to understand that nothing is impossible with God, that God is within all of us, that each and every one of us is an aspect of God. And when everything comes together, we form, or we are, God in its totality. So it should not be regarded as blasphemy to say that you are God. You are God. We are God. We are God, not gods. We are God. And everything that we need, God in its totality, God in its wholeness, has already infused in us. We are diverse in our unity. We are one aspects of God that are meant to express God in its diverse aspects, billions and billions of aspects of God. That is why there are so many of us on earth. And each one of us can only represent and express our godliness in our unique way. Whether you are a twin, you are triplets, you are how many you are born at the same time. Nobody carries the same blueprint as the next person. We are all here to express God. And we can only do so by giving ourselves time to attend to ourselves, to reflect on our lives, and to understand who we are through the various stages of life, the four stages of life, which I then call the four grades or the four levels or the four classes of life, where we develop physically and spiritually. You know, as we turn 1 year in the physical, we should be turning 1 year in the spiritual. So our spiritual and physical growth must always go together. That is why sometimes we find that a person is 40 years old, but spiritually they're still babies, they're still drinking milk. So we need to develop our spirituality and our physicality at the same time. And we can only do so by giving ourselves time to invest in this knowledge, to invest in wanting to know ourselves beyond our appearances. And that is why some of us are doing the work that they are doing. And there are so many other teachers out there who are at this point working very hard to try and remember, to try and remind ourselves of who we are and why we are here. We are love, and we are just here to express love in so many different ways and fulfilling the will and the love of God on earth. So in grade 2, we apply what we have learned, and we may not always get the best results, but we need to persevere. We need to have patience. When we pray, we need to have faith that our prayers are being heard. And in one video, I will make a video about prayer as well, because I've heard something very interesting. I've always loved studying about prayer, and there's one teacher who says, you know, sometimes when you pray, you actually cast a spell on yourself. So what kind of a spell are we casting on ourselves when we pray? I've learned that when we pray, most of our prayers, we are begging God. We are asking God to do one thing or the other. However, God has given us everything that we need, everything that God designed us to have in this lifetime, to experience in this lifetime. It is in our blueprint. The only thing is that we are not tuning into that frequency, so that whatever our God, whenever we reach our God frequency, we can then allow whatever has been assigned for us to manifest in our lives. So that is why we are doing self-healing work, so that we clear our energies of all the pollutants, you know, all the pollutants that have polluted our souls, that have darkened our souls, so that the light of God does not penetrate in us, does not penetrate and take root and grow and expand in us, so that we all live a peaceful, prosperous life of compassion and kindness with one another. So let us apply what we have learned. Let us seek to apply our truth. The only application we need to do is to apply our own truth. Truth is the same. And the truth is that we are all love. We are all light. That's the only truth. However, how each and every one of us applies and expresses that truth is up to you, and the choices that you make, the relationship that you have with God. Everyone has got a unique relationship with God. And if one person understands their God to mean one thing, it is only fair that we allow them to be as they should allow us to be. We are living in times where there is a lot of revelation. However, this revelation is being comprehended and understood in so many different ways. Some people will say God says, some people will say Jesus says, some people say this is how I feel, this is how I hear, this is how I see. It's okay. It is okay. Nobody has the right to say the other one is lying or the other one is not lying. What matters is that what is your God saying to you in your heart? What is your God, the God that is within you, the God that is within all of us? What are you hearing God say to you? And if that is enriching you and it's helping you to enrich your life and the lives of others, that is good enough. Thou shalt not judge. Thou shalt not judge. So let us be discerning in how we want to live our lives. Let us be and let others be. Let us focus on ourselves so that when we focus on ourselves, we can heal, we can clear ourselves, and we can be an inspiration for others to see the truth, to see the clarity, to seek to understand through us. Because you teach by becoming who and what you are teaching about. You cannot say, do what I say, not what I do. We must be inspiration, and that inspiration is not limited to material possessions. Let us be spiritually inspiring so that people can yearn to learn about the peace that surpasses all understanding that they may witness in our lives. Because it doesn't help to have all the material possessions that you can think of. However, you do not have life, you do not have love, you do not have compassion, you do not ooze peace and the glory of God and compassion for your fellow human beings. So let us cultivate um, the Spirit of God in us. Let us apply the love that is within us by allowing it to grow and expand within us, by us cleansing ourselves, removing everything, every belief that may limit us to love ourselves and to love one another. Thank you so much, family. The next video, we are going to talk about grade 3 in the class of life. So in grade 1, we are taught by others, and then we get to a point where we make our own decisions and choices according to our truths. In grade 2, we apply the truth that resonates with us. We take responsibility for our own understanding. We seek our own understanding and clarity, and then we move to grade 3, which is what we're going to talk about in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day. Looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you, family. God bless.